If you are looking for a fully funded scholarship to study in Australia, I got you covered in this video. In today's video, I am going to talk about the Australia Awards Scholarship. What are the benefits of the scholarship? What are the eligibility criteria to apply for the Australia Awards Scholarship? The opening and closing date for the Australia Awards Scholarship? How do you go about applying for the scholarship online? What are the supporting documents that you must provide? What are the partner universities that are involved in this scholarship? And most importantly, tips that will help you to succeed in this scholarship. If you feel like this is something that sounds good, why not begin by liking the video so that the algorithm will push it to more people, and then make sure you subscribe to the channel if you've not yet subscribed to the channel, and then make sure you equally turn on notification bell, because it will help you to get notified whenever I post new videos about scholarship in South Korea where I live, like the Global Korea Scholarship that is very popular around the world, and other scholarships in places like Australia, New Zealand, Europe, America, and Canada. So without taking too much of your time, let's get into the detail of the Australia Awards Scholarship. Now, what is the Australia Awards Scholarship? As it says here, Australia Awards Scholarship are long-term award administered by the Department of Foreign Affairs and Trade. And they say it aims to contribute to the development needs of Australia partner countries in line with bilateral and regional agreements. So they provide opportunities for people from developing countries, particularly those countries located in the Indo-Pacific region, to undertake full-time undergraduate or postgraduate study in participating Australian universities and technical and further education institutions. That is the reason for the Australia Awards Scholarship. It is offered by the Department of Foreign Affairs and Trade in Australia. Now, the next thing is, what is the benefit of this scholarship? They will provide you with full tuition fee during the course of your program, return airfare, payment of a single return economy class airfare to and from Australia via the most direct route, and airfare from your home country into Australia and back to your home country once you're done with your studies. They would provide you with an establishment allowance. They need to give you money to settle down once you get into Australia, so it's a one-time payment. They will contribute to your living expenses, that's like a monthly expenses. Then they would provide you with introductory academic program to help you prepare for the commencement of your studies. They would equally provide you with overseas health insurance. It is important. Maybe you might fall sick, one never knows. And then for people who are not coming from an English-speaking country, they would provide you with an English preparatory course for you to get used to English language, because remember, Australia is an English-speaking country, so you need English to study. And then they would provide you with some supplementary academic support to ensure that you have a good experience while studying. And then you would equally have support for field work, research, and other things. Now, the next thing is, who is eligible for this scholarship? They have participating countries, and it has been broken down into continents. So you have Asia Pacific, Middle East, Africa, and you have contacts for those countries. So for Asian countries, you have a list of these countries beginning from Bangladesh right down to Vietnam. And then Pacific countries, you have from Federated State of Micronesia right down to Wallis and Fortuna. Then they have Middle Eastern countries, Palestinian territories. And then down here you have Africa. If you click here, you would find the details of the African countries that are eligible for this scholarship. So it begins with Algeria right down to Zimbabwe. You might want to equally click this link to read more details about what will be the requirement for the African countries that are eligible. For my people from Nigeria, Nigeria is very much eligible for this scholarship. This is a detail of the African countries and the closing date. So what is the opening and closing deadline for this scholarship? For people from Africa, you would have to start applying from the 1st of February. This is already the 2nd of February, and right up to the 1st of May. That will be the closing deadline. And then if you have any difficulties, you can always email them using this email address. And then for people from Bangladesh, it equally begins from the 1st of February right up to the 1st of May. Inquiries can be done by sending an email to this email address. You can just like go through and look at the starting date. These are the countries, these are the starting dates, and these are the closing dates. Basically, it is the same date for every country that is eligible for this scholarship. They begin from the 1st of February and then right up to the 1st of May. And remember, they say here the opening date for the 2024 intake for application is Wednesday. Remember, this scholarship is for you to come and study in 2024 next year. So the start date is from the 1st of February, which is Wednesday, and then it will end on Monday, the 1st of May, and the time will be 11:59 p.m. So you have to make sure you respect the deadline. Now, apart from these countries that have been stated here as eligible countries, there are other eligibility criteria. Now, if you go to the Australia Award Scholarship Policy Handbook that was published in 2022, you would find at page number 29, number 2, applying for an Australian Award Scholarship 2.1 general eligibility criteria. You would find the details on the general eligibility. You can read them, and then you would find 2.2 eligibility criteria. You have to be eligible to receive an Australian Award Scholarship. Applicant must be 18 years of age as of the 1st of February on the year of the commencement of the scholarship. That means if you're applying to study next year in 2024, make sure that by the time you're beginning your scholarship, you should be 18 years of age. That is for those who would be applying for undergraduate. Now, it says be a citizen of a participating country. We've already talked about. You must not be an Australian citizen or must not be holding a permanent resident from Australia. And then you must not be equally married to an Australian or maybe to somebody who is from New Zealand. And then you must not be serving in the military in your home country. And you must not have received a previous scholarship from Australia. But know that if you had received a scholarship from Australia before, you must have had that maybe 8 years before. So if it's been more than 8 years since you last had the scholarship from Australia, then you can apply. You must not have been convicted or be having any criminal record to apply for this scholarship. There are other eligibility criteria that you can go about reading so that you know what is eligible and what is not eligible for you to apply for this scholarship. Now, it is important for me to state here that if you are applying from Africa, from any of these African countries, beginning from Algeria right down to Zimbabwe, know that you can only apply to come and do a master's degree. That's why it says here that level of study. Australia Award Scholarship provides citizens of eligible African countries with the opportunity to obtain a master's degree at an Australian tertiary institution. Award will be offered for commencement in 2024. So the priority field of study is climate change, agriculture and food security, mining and energy, foreign policy and international security. That is for people from Africa. But then it is equally important to note that for the other countries that are eligible, they equally have specific fields to which they can apply to. For example, let's take Indonesia. If you come from Indonesia, you equally have this document. It says that people from Indonesia can apply for a master or a PhD. And then these are the priority fields of study: health security, stability, economic recovery. Detailed information can be found here. So this is a link to Australia. If you click it, you would have detailed information. And then they equally have other criteria like your GPA that you must obtain before you can apply, and then English proficiency test that will be required for PhD and masters. And then they equally have other information that you might want to know, like these are important documents that you would have to provide. Where it says certified, you have to certify. Where it says don't need to be certified, where it says no, know that you don't need to certify. So it is important for you to read the country specific detailed information, and also make sure you read the Australia Awards Scholarship Policy Handbook 2023. Now let's look at how to go about applying for this scholarship. It is important to note that application is done online. You don't have to submit any hard copy when applying. So the application has to be done on this website, Online Australia Scholarship Information System, that's OASIS. If you click on that link, it will take you to this page. Now on this page you have to click on login register, and the next thing that you would have to do is register a new account. You would have to input your email. Confirm your email, family name, given names, date of birth, and then your contact information, and then you save. And then you would have to go through a series of questions that you would answer before you can begin your application. So it is important to note that the application is online. Now let's look at the partner universities that are involved in this Australia Awards Scholarship. So this is the document that has been submitted online. It was last updated in February 2017. So you have Australian Catholic University, Aviation Australia, Bond University. You can go through the list of universities. It is important to note that you can only apply to the list of universities that have been cited on this document. You cannot apply to any other university that is out of this scholarship. And it is important for me to state here that you don't need to apply to the universities directly. You would only have the opportunity to state the universities that you've decided to apply to. And when applying, make sure that the program that is under the scholarship, as has been stated by the people offering the scholarship, because remember, this scholarship is to help countries that are developing, and they've set priority areas that they want to fund. So for example, when we were looking at the scholarship opportunity for African countries, they had priority areas of fields. They had climate change, agriculture and food security, mining and energy. You have to make sure that when selecting the universities, you have to go to the universities and make sure that they have those programs that have been cited as priority areas. So for example, if you decide to study at Bern, you have to go to Bond University website and look at the programs that they are offering at the master's level, because remember, for African people you can only apply for a master's program. So you must make sure that Bond University is offering one of the priority areas, and then when applying online you would cite Bond University as one of your universities. You would have a limited number of universities, I think 3 universities that you have to select. Then it is the people offering the scholarship that will get in contact with the university to offer you a place in that university. You don't have to contact the university. All you need to do is apply online on the website that I just talked about, and then the people offering the scholarship will be the one to get in contact with that university to make sure you have a place to study in that university. You don't need to apply to that university. All you need to do is fulfill the conditions that have been requested in this website, and then they will take care of getting you admission in that university. The next thing is English proficiency. It is important to note that for some countries they might require you to provide an English proficiency, while for some countries they might not require you to provide an English proficiency. If English is your medium of instruction, that is, you did maybe your undergraduate in English language, did your master's in English language. If you want to apply for master's degree and you did your undergraduate in English, you would only have to provide proof that you did your studies in English at the undergraduate level. If you did your master's and undergraduate in English and you want to apply for a PhD, you would only have to provide proof that your studies were carried out in English. But it is important to equally note that some universities might not accept your English language proficiency from your university. They might want you to have a recognized test score like maybe Ielts. So you have to equally make sure that when selecting your universities, you make sure that you select a university that has a program that is covered in the priority areas, and the university equally accepts you to provide an English proficiency test that proves that your studies were carried out in English. If not, you would have to provide Ielts. If you're coming from a country that does not use English as their first language, know that you would have to provide one of the English test score. Again, you have to go to the policy book to make sure you read it well and know the requirements from your country, because they've grouped it according to country. So you have to go to your country and look at the eligibility requirement as far as language is concerned before you apply. Now let's look at the tips on how you can go about succeeding in this scholarship. The first tip, like I always say in all of my videos, is for you to make sure you read the application guideline. In this Australia Awards Scholarship, there is an Australia Awards Scholarship Policy Book. This one that is here, let me enlarge it. It was last updated in 2022. Make sure you go through this document carefully. It says here you must read this Australia Awards Scholarship Policy Handbook carefully and fully understand its content before signing the contract with Commonwealth of Australia. Because remember, this scholarship is for Commonwealth of Australian countries. So make sure you read this document very well. This is the table of content. Make sure you read it, especially the number 2, applying for an Australia Awards Scholarship, general eligibility criteria, country and regional profile, English language requirement. Make sure you read this document well if you know you want to succeed in this scholarship, and also make sure you note the conditions for bachelor's degree, because in some countries they will allow you to do a bachelor's degree for this program. There are conditions that have been stated in this document. You have to make sure you read it well, understand it well, know that you fulfilled all the conditions for applying before you start applying. So the first tip is that you make sure you read this document. The second tip, if you want to succeed, is to know the priority areas that have been slated for your countries. For example, people coming from African countries, they've stated 4 priority areas that the scholarship is focusing on. In most cases, it has to do with development. Now let's go back to the African document. The priority fields of study is climate change, agriculture and food security, mining and energy, foreign policy and international security. It is important to note that when you'll be writing any document that has to do with maybe something like statement of purpose, you have to make sure that your development goals, because you provide a development goals document, it has to do with something that has to do with the area. For example, if you're fighting climate change in your home country, you have to talk about things that you've done in the past to fight about climate change. You have to equally indicate some limitations that you faced during your work as a climate change fighter. And then you have to equally make sure you go to the university's website and look at their curriculum on climate change. Talk about things that you've seen there, things that you feel like if you should learn about those things, it will help you to come and fight the things that you were lacking when you were fighting against climate change back in your home country. So you would talk about how you fought about climate change in the past, because remember, they want to find people who have been trying to help in the development of their home country. Those are the type of people that they are looking for, because like I said, this scholarship is for those who are development oriented. You would show how you've been struggling to fight against climate change. You'd equally tell them the limitations or the problems that you faced. You equally try to mention the things that you found in the course that you're planning to apply to. If you can gain that knowledge, how it will help you to fight against climate change in your home country, because they really want to see your motivation for applying for this scholarship. So you have to make sure you know the purpose of the scholarship. Try to know the course outline or the degree outline. You try to know the degree that you are applying to and the course outline under that degree, and try to understand the knowledge that you might acquire after learning that degree or obtaining that degree, and try to tell them how it is going to help you to fight against climate change back in your home country. So always try to make sure it ties to the development goals or the priorities that have been set up by the people offering this scholarship. That being said, I hope you would succeed in your scholarship application, and I wish you the best in your application. Please, if you know you've not yet subscribed to the channel, make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.